I'm Joe.
I'm Richie.
And we're here today for a very special edition of the Joe and Richie Show. Today is going to be the Last Jedi Backlash Forum.
Oh my gosh, so many people complain about such a great movie.
True enough. We have a special guest with us today. Introducing here Mr. Myke.
Hey everybody.
Myke is going to be our special guest for this forum. So let's set the scene a little bit. Last Jedi came out, it's been about a week, and we all enjoyed it very much. The ratings, the reviews were all very good. Mm-hmm. However, there seems to be a lot of hate or just a general, I don't know how to really describe it.
Hate's a really strong word. I don't know if I want to, you know what? No, I am going to use that word.
People,
a lot of people hated it.
No, a lot of people hated it.
It's not just dislike, they hated it.
For some odd reason, and we don't understand it, but we want to discuss those points that people didn't like, mm-hmm. and sort of just, you know, say why we think these people are wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to get right to the big one. Who was Snoke and who were Rey's parents?
Ugh.
So the first thing you learned about who was Snoke, it didn't matter.
Right. Oh, by the way, spoilers, everybody, in case you haven't seen it, but given that we're talking about what other people have reviewed,
yeah,
obvious spoilers.
There's gonna be spoilers.
Yeah.
So the first thing is the death of Snoke. So let's discuss it. People had theories. He was Darth Plagueis the Wise. He was Mace Windu. He was the Emperor reincarnate. He was the librarian.
You pretty much summed up why so many people say they hate it.
Yeah.
When in reality, maybe they don't.
Yeah.
Maybe they just feel a little smited.
Yeah.
And maybe let down that the stuff that they made. Yeah. I'm not going to go as far as say exploitive, but there were an awful lot of videos with basically like making up anything possible.
Yeah.
And you know, in my opinion, Snoke was actually one of the weaker parts of Awakens, and I thought he was just a very flat, uninteresting character, because there have been so many like him in Star Wars before.
Yeah.
And like if it was Plagueis, like I guess that's cool. But even if it is still Plagueis, I don't need to be told that it's Plagueis to have a good time, especially with what happens to him. Yeah. And I think that scene further developed the new characters.
Yes.
What's the point of a new Star Wars if we're not going to at least engage in the newer characters?
Yes. Richie, your thoughts?
No, I totally agree. Snoke was just a tool.
Sure.
That's all he was, just to propel the characters forward.
Yeah.
That's all he was. To be honest, I did not really care about his backstory. I know a lot of people wanted to know where he came from, what happened to him.
He had good taste in clothes.
Oh, he sure did. The red room.
He's very fashionable.
Yeah.
He could definitely decorate a room like no one else. And you're right about all these theories. Maybe some people were hoping that maybe one of them hits. Like, oh my God!
Yeah.
So
like most of the theories that I read after seeing the movie, because I kind of avoided, like a lot of people, I avoided all Star Wars news when a release date, you know, or when the movie was coming out soon. You know, with a movie like Star Wars, especially now, you don't want to go into it thinking that it's going to be a copy-paste of the old trilogy.
Yeah.
And that's sort of what Awakens was in a lot of ways, but it was a way to revive, like,
get you back in.
To give people what they really wanted. I mean, it served its purpose, right?
Yeah.
And now we get, like, the new interesting stuff, because all the interesting stuff is in Last Jedi.
Yes.
Yep.
So let's move on to the second big speculation was Rey. She's a Skywalker, a Kenobi, a Palpatine.
Yeah.
There was like everything was speculated at what she was. And at the end, she was.
It's funny. Nobody likes the message that anybody could be a Jedi.
Yeah.
And it makes sense, right? Because it's all about balance.
Yes.
So if the Force is trying to balance itself, and we have this Skywalker legacy that's basically kind of messing everything up, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't there just be anybody that pops up? It could be anything.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I mean,
what did you think? What did you think about the boy at the end who uses the Force to grab the
that was
broom?
great. That was great, and that tied in with the Rey part.
Right.
Think about the theories. Think about the theories logically. Okay. The first theory, the first most obvious one is she's Han and Leia's daughter that they abandoned.
Luke and Leia's was the
fun. Can you really believe
but
that?
how would they be Han? Yeah, I know that was good too. But how could they be Han? Why would Han and Leia abandon their daughter?
Exactly.
The same with Luke. If Luke had a secret daughter, how would he abandon it?
Sure.
Right.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan Kenobi didn't have any girlfriends.
Yeah.
you know, maybe the only one that even would have made sense to me would have been she was somehow like related to the Emperor.
But you know,
none of them really made any sense.
We have this forum now where you can hear millions of people talk about something, and you can't watch a movie some people can't watch a movie anymore without seeing all of the clues themselves. I mean, if you think about Awakens, that shot of the spaceship going away with her parents, it just looks like she was abandoned there.
And that's all it was.
I never really like left thinking like, oh my God, who are her parents? I need to know. That didn't really come up in the story for me.
You're just kind of setting yourself up for so much disappointment. Just accept it.
But you know what it is? Maybe people are maybe they're starting to ask the wrong questions at the end of a movie. They watch a movie and instead of asking like, instead of asking who is Snoke, who is Rey's parents, like. That's irrelevant.
Yeah,
and maybe that's why they didn't.
Well, and it was irrelevant too if you really think about it, because think about Snoke in the first movie. How much is he in the first movie?
He's a hologram.
He's a hologram.
He's like the Emperor in Empire.
And then in this one, he's just basically a one-dimensional character. He's like a Bond villain.
He's more interesting because he's not a hologram like visually, but he's still just like he's just kind of this. He's the same. There's nothing really new to him.
So let's move on to the second thing people are complaining about, the humor.
Okay.
Which
it was
a lot of humor.
Sure, but. Maybe I have a biased opinion about this because I'll watch comedies by myself. And even if I think something's funny, I don't laugh. So some of the stuff, like I wouldn't say it was like off the wall funny, but there was humor in parts that maybe fell out of place for Star Wars. But like I don't know, like do you remember in particular when we saw it when Finn was walking and he has the water out and all that? That like didn't get a laugh directly from our audience. But they were still with the movie. Like you don't need like people like I don't know like feel like aha it wasn't funny. It's like it doesn't have to be laugh out loud funny.
No, it doesn't have to be.
It can be playful-ish, I guess.
And it's Star Wars.
Yoda was funny.
Yoda was funny. I mean, you think of all the laughs that's been in Star Wars. Yoda and.
But Star Wars also was never that funny, right? I mean, like the jokes in the original trilogy are pretty like. Pretty. Childish.
Childish.
The most memorable ones. Yeah, they are. Han Solo. Yeah,
what does that even mean?
Hey, you can't use that word.
All right, so we're okay with the humor. So
let's know what one of your buttons are.
I think it was that scene with Luke taking the lightsaber and throwing it behind him. That gave me a laugh. It gave a lot of people a laugh.
But why are you guys so upset about that?
Look at that camera.
Why are you guys so upset about that?
Now look at that camera.
Are you just upset that because it just throws out everything from previous films? Like it was such a huge build-up in The Force Awakens to meet up, and then I thought it was a great moment, and it brought out the whole theme of the movie where it just died with the old.
Well, if you're gonna try to like prepare someone for what the rest of the movie is going to be like.
Richie missed the first few minutes of the movie.
Oh yeah,
and he actually missed when you knew this was going to be that kind of movie. You missed before that. What happened is you missed. Poe was basically doing the whole like hello I'll hold routine.
Right.
So you missed that. So that was when you first knew it.
Did you miss Finn with the water thing?
No, he walked in right as the water thing was happening.
Yeah. There's like a cell phone joke.
Yeah, there's like Okay. The never before seen force powers. A lot of people are mad about flying Leia.
Why?
I don't know.
Well, I just mean, like you said, a lot of people, like, when you were reading,
she
like they
fly.
think it's lame or something?
I don't know.
I think so.
They thought it was lame, you can't fly, you can't survive in space. I don't know.
The thing is, they didn't write the movie. Like, it's up to the writer and the director to work on it. And, like, the powers change every film, pretty much. It's up to them how they want to interpret it. I mean, it will... I don't know. I believe it's up to the filmmakers to decide how the Force works in every film. And I understand why everybody's upset, and I get it. Like I chuckled too when Leia was force pulling herself back into the ship.
I didn't laugh.
But it was a little bit silly. It was a little bit angelic, and it's just like
I know what you mean. There's this, but it's like
she's a Skywalker.
They say she can use the Force. We've never seen it before.
Exactly.
We see it. You know, she actually. You know what?
No.
Oh.
No, I agree with that. And the other one, obviously, the other big one was Yoda.
Being a puppet was incredible.
Was incredible. They also were like, he's interacting. He burn
Why do
something
people
down.
have a problem with that?
Yeah, I didn't get that either. I was fine with
I mean,
that.
the fact that they can even be there in the first place and talk to people says a lot. Right.
Yeah, you'd think the fact that they can come back as ghosts.
That kind of baffles me. Like, you mean the lightning thing?
The lightning.
Yeah,
people
when it
were
was
like,
burning.
why-
Who cares? Who cares if he has that power?
Or he was
It
hitting.
wasn't, and by the way, it wasn't like he came in and saved the day with that power.
No.
It was actually kind of a deep philosophical point.
Yeah.
You know, like letting Luke go.
Yeah.
Even though they're actually preserved.
Yes.
Right.
I think the Star Wars formula is shaken up. Is another reason people don't like it. I think you go into a movie, for a Star Wars movie, and you expect.
Oh, sure.
And in this one, we had just kind of like throwing some things out there. Like we've never had an interaction like the Poe and the Admiral Hondo, where like they were kind of like the same sides against each other. We never had that. We never had a double climax ending where you had all that stuff with the Star Destroyer and then 30 more minutes. You never had a suicide run stopped where Rose stopped his suicide run. You never had like the statement on capitalism being so awful.
Sure. Like nobody liked the casino thing. Neither did any of us really, right?
It wasn't a great scene, but to be honest, in my opinion, that was like the most George Lucas type.
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of prequel references.
Yeah. The Canto Bright scene. When I saw it the second time, that was when I strategically made my bathroom visit.
Yeah. Which was well done, by the way.
Thank you.
You started a whole movement of people. leaving.
People leaving the theater. But
well, what I wanted to get at real quickly, especially with that, is that there's when you look at a lot of movies that bounce between stories, usually there are only 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And in this one, it seemed to be like 4 to 5.
Yeah.
And we're cutting between all 3 new characters and the Rey's and then so it's like 5. It's like 5 stories. And there's a moment in that movie, with the first climax being the light speed thing. All of the scenes taking place around that are meant, I think, to take place within the same 90 seconds.
Yes.
But because you have 5 stories established, we have to see what every single person's doing, and it actually drags the moment.
Yeah.
It messes with what they call the temporal runtime.
Yeah.
And we start to actually we're not really associating time correctly at that point.
Yeah.
And I think as an audience member, that might be like maybe a little stressful to watch. And at that point, you've just been to the casino thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know what I mean? Like we've already seen so much we didn't want to.
Yeah.
And now we have to like actually end all these stories because then the last act is everybody's together.
Yes.
And that's where the movie starts to write itself again, I think.
What's so wrong with having new things happen in a film?
Hell yeah.
What's so wrong about being surprised in a film?
That was my favorite thing about it. Was everything was new.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Force Awakens when I was watching that. I knew it was going to happen. It was like the same old formula. It wasn't a bad thing. I enjoyed it, as did many other people, as we did. But Last Jedi just had a lot of surprises and throughout a lot of the previous conventions. And I think that made it a really good film.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with being surprised. That's what you're paying your money for. You know, if you want to pay for the same old, I get it.
Eat Cheerios every day.
Yeah.
Sure. That's that.
Yeah. All right, so the last one we have is Broken Luke. Mark Hamill himself is kind of even adding fuel to the fire with this one.
He sure is.
So let's talk about the Broken Luke. Let's talk about the behavior of Luke. What did you think of that?
Luke being like, training all these new Jedi, and then he senses a darkness in one of them. And it's almost like because it's a Rashomon scene where we've got we've got 3 versions of the same story, right? Which was cool because Rashomon and Hidden Fortress were a big influence on Star Wars.
Absolutely.
So little things like that like really pushed the movie forward for me. But Luke, in the final version of the story, Luke has a moment of weakness.
Yeah.
And then Ben Solo sees that weakness, and that's where the conflict comes from.
Yes.
So. And then everything goes to everything goes to hell basically. Yeah. And then Luke's left alone. He feels like a failure. He goes off by himself. It makes sense because Luke is older, and there's nothing like a failure like that when you've already learned lessons. Yes. And I like the direction that he went in. I'm like, yeah, sure, he's a little wonky on the island by himself, but if you live by yourself for many, many years, you start to get a little goofy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Yoda was a little goofy. He might have been testing Luke, but he could also just sort of be like that.
Yeah,
too.
I mean, he was old. He died when he was 900. The brain wanders.
So to finish your point as to did I enjoy the direction they went in Luke? Because I'm sure you'll want to talk about the final scene as well.
Yeah.
But I did overall enjoy it because I found it interesting, and I liked his relationship with Rey, and that it wasn't all about him he wasn't the inspiration until the end.
Yeah.
And it was because of her that he became that legend that we all see Luke Skywalker as.
Yes.
Richie?
Yeah. Oh, I totally agree.
My father, when I was talking about the movie before it came out, he was expecting, his expectations was that Luke was going to screw up Rey, because as he said, he has been nothing but a screw up. But like, if you think about it, think about what we saw from Luke. We saw him be a whiny little brat in the first movie. We saw him be a whiny little brat who gets his hand chopped off in the second movie. We saw him be a badass in the third movie.
Yeah.
And then in The Force Awakens, he did something so awful he had to run away.
Yes.
So in reality, he's 3 out of 4 times he sucks. He's a brat or something like that.
Yeah.
So maybe a lot of the expectations did come from that expanded universe. The shot of him like with the black cape and the Mara Jade.
I saw all the cover art. All the cover art was amazing looking.
Yeah. That comes to the final thing. Some people didn't like the fact that he was not there.
They wanted a battle, and I don't blame him. I wanted to see him force crumble every walker there.
Yeah.
I wanted that, but how it played out, I think it worked out better.
He topples one, and then they keep like.
Oh yeah, like in a biker club, you push one bike over. Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was great. There was one reviewer who, right after the movie I saw, who was like, "Oh, waited all this time to see Luke be powerful, and we didn't get to see it." I'm like, "Huh?"
Yeah, that's like what he did was the epitome of power.
Yeah.
To project yourself
Sure.
Across the galaxy, interact with. It's just amazing.
I also have seen people that are just like, well, what's the difference if he dies anyway, and why isn't he there? There is a difference.
Yeah.
And one of them is he denies Kylo Ren's satisfaction of victory.
Yeah.
And he's ensured by truly trolling him.
Yes.
He's ensured that the First Order will be led by an emotional, reckless, incompetent leader that has no closure with what basically pushed him to become the leader of the First Order. He's made the First Order defeatable.
Yes.
We talked before about the replacement of Trevorrow with J.J. Abrams, and when he saw the script, he's like, well, this is episodes 8 and 9.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to follow up episode 8 if it's all of the material we thought of? I wanted to ask you guys, like, what do you think the time gap will be between 8 and 9? Like year-wise, because it'll be about like when the episode starts. Most likely, it's going to be the First Order has gotten back on their feet, but so has the Resistance. And Rey's going to have students.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's gonna anywhere from 3 to 10 years.
Yeah, I guess
a decade sounds fair.
I would like a decade too, because I think they could just.
There's so much that could.
I think a decade would be good too, because then it could be an easy way to write off Leia, like she just.
She just died of old age. What if the movie starts off with her funeral and Luke shows up, and that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
So, any final thoughts, Richie?
Great movie. If you haven't seen it, watch it. Although, if you're watching this, you're obviously spoiled.
Yeah.
But
you've watched this,
But watch it again, and then just enjoy it for what it is. It's a very entertaining movie.
Myke, any final thoughts?
If you haven't seen it yet, go see it. If you like Star Wars, don't pay attention to people that are. It's not bad. It's not a bad movie at all. And it's a sloppy movie at times. It's got too many storylines. There are a lot of problems, but all of the important things work. And that's what I liked about it.
Yeah, I loved it, and I agree with these guys. So thank you for coming, Myke.
No, my pleasure to be here.
Richie, nice to have you as always.
Always Joe.
All right, I'm Joe.
And I'm Richie.
Bye-bye.
Wait, which camera are we looking at?
We're looking at that
all of
one.
them.
Wait.